Hello world, Lisa Friedrichsen, your friend and computer science professor with another short screencast from javascript.info, the modern JavaScript tutorial. We are down to section 5.5, array methods, another incredibly important tutorial. And to review the concepts of that tutorial, I'm going to build a little JS file with an array just to make sure we're on the same page with the basics. So I've got s55.js with a use strict directive, an array, a method of that array. We're going to push Pedro onto the end of this array. And then I want to talk about what's returned from those array methods. And to do that, I've created a little function called whatisReturned. So you know about functions. You can create a new function using the function keyword and name that function. If it has arguments, they go in the parentheses. This one does not have any arguments. And then it has one statement, console log something important. So when I run that function, what is returned, and we know we run a function with a left and right parentheses, this is what's going to happen. So as soon as I refresh my web page, something important is logged out because I'm already running that function instead of running it directly out of the console as I have in past screencasts. But here's the thing. All of these array methods, such as the push method, also return something. For example, I've created my array of students with Lisa, Doug, Kelsey, and Aaron in the array. And I've then said students.push, push Pedro onto that array. So when I look at the students array, I've got Pedro there. But an important point that I'm trying to pause and make here is that methods, just like functions, return something. Now, in this function, I've got no return statement. So what is returned? Undefined is returned. And I can prove that by running the whatisReturned function directly from the console. And I see the side effect to that function, but I also see undefined. So every time you run a function, every time you run a method of an object, which is like a function, something is returned. Let's see what's returned from students.push. The only way I can see that if I run this directly from my script is to declare a variable, let number of students be assigned to students.push. So what's going to happen is students.push Pedro is going to go onto that array, and then what is returned from that method is going to be put in the number of students variable that I've just declared. And when I look at what number of students is set to, it's set to 5. The push method not only pushes that element onto the end of the array, it also returns a number. Let's try something different. Let's go ahead and comment out my push statement, the return value of which is set into the number of students variable. And let's use the students.pop method. Now we know the pop method pops off the last item of that array, but it also returns something. But see, I'm not saving what it's returned. Now you may or may not need what is returned from a function or from a method. But if you do, you have to save it somehow. Because if I simply run students.pop, refresh, and then look at students, I popped off Aaron off the end of that array, and now my students array has 3 items. But what was returned from the pop method? We don't know yet. I can find out by saying let last student be assigned to students.pop, save my JavaScript, refresh my page, look at students. Yes, Aaron has been popped off. But now let's look at last student. So the pop method returns what was popped off. The push method returns the new number of items in the array. In both 5.4 and 5.5, as you're looking at these methods, I want you to not only know what it does as a statement, but what it returns. Because each one of these methods is going to return something, and if you need to use that something later on in the code, you're going to have to set up a variable and assign it to that statement so that the return value is stored in a variable. Let's talk about 2 more array methods, splice and slice. And to me, it's a lot easier to remember the difference when you know what they return. So here's our array of students, 4 students. And here on line 9, I have declared a variable x. I used x just for something very short. I'm taking that students array and I'm splicing from position 1, removing 1 item, and then inserting Jane, Jim, and Juan. Let's see how that works. I'll refresh my page and look at students. And we see our array now has 6 items. At position 1 would be Doug, because Lisa is 0, so Doug is 1. That's the first one. Where do we go into the array? The second argument is how many items in the array do we remove? We removed Doug. And then the third argument and subsequent arguments are what elements do we insert into the array? So you'll see that we started at position 1 with Doug, we removed one item, Doug, and then we inserted Jane, Jim, and Juan between Lisa and Kelsey. And that's exactly what we got over here. Lisa, Jane, Jim, Juan, Kelsey, Aaron. That's why our author says that the splice method is the Swiss Army knife of array manipulation, because it can remove, replace, and or insert new items into the array. The interesting thing about Splice is, what did it return? Well, since I saved what it returned in a variable by assigning that variable to the return value of that method, I can come over here in my console and see what X is, and X is Doug. The Splice returns whatever was removed from the array. On line 12, I have another array, classes, and I've assigned it to some class IDs. And I'm now going to slice the classes array. Slice method is taking two values, and let's see what it does. If I look at what classes is after I slice it, it looks the same. But what does slices contain? Slices contains, starting at position 0, which is web 110, and going for two positions, web 110 and web 114. So it returns whatever I've sliced out of it. So splice returns what has been removed, and slice returns a slice of the array. The author also makes the point that the slice method works on both strings and arrays, and returns the sliced portion of the string or the sliced out portion of the array, but the array or the string itself remains the same. Now, there are many other excellent, important methods in this tutorial as well that I want to talk about in a separate screencast, because their arguments include a function. So for the very first time in the next screencast, we're going to have a method, and one of its arguments, instead of just being a number, is going to be a function itself that returns something. That's called a higher order function, and it's a critical and important part of JavaScript. So we're going to take that on a separate screencast. Thank you.